this, no one else will get approved except BlackRock.
Yep.
The only person who will ever get a spot ETF is BlackRock. And there's a reason, because they're inside the tent and we're outside the tent, and anyone competing. And look, I'm actually, I don't know how strong a word to use, Mike. Afraid. I'm afraid for the first time. But man, the war is going to be bloody.
In this video, we look at Mark Yusko's analysis of and reaction to the BlackRock ETF filing, and why he's deathly afraid. Mark earlier predicted that BlackRock would get approved long before they ever filed an ETF. He made this prediction based on their stellar track record, and with every passing day, it seems more and more likely to to pass. The SEC previously rejected spot ETF applications based on claims of fraud, market manipulation, and investor exposure in the cryptocurrency market. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager in their ETF filing, has provided solutions to all of these problems, and there's really nothing standing in their way anymore. This should be good news, but Mark explains that this might be how they get in. And considering all the other telltale signs, it would seem we're in for a bloody war to decide the future of finance and the internet. Let's see what he has to say.
Over a year ago, saying this, no one else will get approved except BlackRock.
Yep.
The only person who will ever get a spot ETF is BlackRock. And there's a reason, because they're inside the tent and we're outside the tent, and anyone competing. And look, I'm actually, I don't know how strong a word to use, Mike. Afraid. I'm afraid for the first time. And that's a big statement, but I'm afraid for the first time. I've been talking about the then they fight you phase, again, for over a year. And I've been talking about us versus them, and us on the crypto side and the digital side and the Bitcoin side. And everybody says, oh, Bitcoin's not crypto. Yes, it is. People think, oh, they did that. Oh, no. And it from talking to some kind of people on the ground at different projects, there's some bad stuff coming. Like, actually what I'm really afraid about is if the SEC does what it appears they're going to do in terms of declaring all of it, except Bitcoin, a security, and anyone who's transacted in any of this stuff is kind of a criminal. That's going to be bad. But where does it stop? Are my Pokemon cards securities now? Is my Magic the Gathering game a Pokemon? I mean, is that a security now? You know, it's
love that you know Magic the Gathering, Mark.
Real estate. Oh my, Michael, this is bad. Again, it's not in my best interest to criticize the people who regulate me. I know that. So don't come for me. But I'm starting to really appreciate what I've been talking about, which is they, and we know who they are. Right? JP Morgan, BlackRock, and all of the controllers of the money, and felt threatened, as they should have, by a disruptive innovation that will, I'm not going to back down from, will replace them. The infrastructure of trust will be replaced by the infrastructure of truth. It just will. But man, the war is going to be bloody.
In spite of all this, Mark asserts that we don't have much of a choice than to let them in. An opinion shared by Real Vision CEO Raoul Pal, who explained that crypto is beyond the level where retail investors can drive growth. Institutional adoption is how we go from here to the next level, and so we must be willing to let them in or die.
You know, when we're talking about the SEC here as the custodian for this ETF, is going to be Coinbase. So at the same time that the SEC is bringing enforcement actions against Coinbase for being operating as an unregistered broker-dealer, BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, has listed Coinbase as its custodian for the spot ETF that they're filing for.
But here's the thing: what if you said, all right, well, BlackRock's going to take over this storage unit, essentially, because theirs will get big fast. I mean, big, huge. And if they have the bulk of it, well, geez, we'll just shut down that unlicensed casino, and then we'll just give the Zappos unit to BlackRock.
Yeah.
That could happen.
As it becomes more and more evident that we must let the big guys in, Mark explains why it's not all negative. In fact, why he believes it's a net positive. Mark explains that crypto will only get bigger when institutions are onboarded. Unfortunately, the same rules that ensure that the blockchain is free for everyone are the same rules that will allow institutions like BlackRock to do what they desire once onboarded. Mark believes we'll scale through after a very bloody war. And so the ensuing scuffle isn't really negative.
Negative? On what planet? Ridiculousness of, I had a guy respond to me, this is negative. Or, no, this is a bad thing. Like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
But what they're implying is that money isn't pure. I mean, it's literally like mudbloods and purebloods from Harry Potter. That money's not pure. We don't want that money converting into to Bitcoin. Of course you do. You want any and all fiat of any kind and any variety to convert to Bitcoin, because the bigger the network, the bigger the safety, security, the more adoption, the more that's the only way the value of a network goes up, is there more participants. And so to say that, well, they're the enemy. Well, they might be, right? BlackRock and JP Morgan, I shouldn't accuse people directly, but that since November of last year, when the futures-based ETF was issued, it's entirely possible that those large institutions have been shorting the shit out of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible. In fact, it's highly likely, because we have proof in the gold market that they do. And every year they make billions of dollars shorting the future and going long the physical. And it's unbelievable to me that that's okay.
Overall, it's a time of mixed feelings for the cryptocurrency community. On one hand, crypto adoption is bound to rise to unprecedented levels within and outside the US. But fears abound that crypto will become indecipherable from TradFi if large institutions are allowed in remains. Mark shares that fear, like most of us do, but he views it as an inevitability. Overall, he's confident that blockchain tech will win, simply because it's better. That's not to say things will be cherry. In fact, Mark notes in an interview that he might have to move to Costa Rica and renounce his US passport should the day come when self-custodying crypto becomes illegal. It seems all we can do for now is wait and watch. But what do you think? Is the ETF the end for crypto or the beginning of something great? To see the latest in crypto news, watch this video here.